Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86. Here you will find everything from your favorite characters, from anime, series or movies, such as figures, statues, trading cards, and other limited special edition items. I will show you everything that is included. For example, we will discuss the design of the box, how it's packaged, the design of the figure, the articulation points, the accessories that are included, and we will see our favorite characters in special scenes. And you never know, you might see other characters make special guest appearances, so you can decide whether it's worth getting or not. Subscribe and join me on new weekly adventures. Now let's start the show. Let's go. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name is Titan del 86 and today from S.H.Figuarts and Marvel's GAMERVERSE I present to you Spider-Man. On the side it shows you a photograph of Spider-Man towards the background. On the back side you see the Spider-Man figure along with the accessories that are included. Overall, the box layout is the same layout that we have been seeing from all these GAMERVERSE series that S.H.Figuarts has been doing. So this one's got combinations of the dark blue fading into the light blue. This Spider-Man figure comes in 2 blister packs and it comes with the effect cardboard. Looking at the first blister pack, you have the figure along with 5 different hand gestures. He's got an accessory web. Then in the second blister pack, he's got another accessory web. This one's the one that he used when defending. And finally you have the cardboard that shows the ultimate Spider-Man move, which is the ultimate web throw. Here's a quick pass of the instructions. The first section shows you the different wrists that come with the figure. It shows you how to swap out the 2 Spider-Man heads, including which wrist to use with the spider web. And finally it gives you a warning of all the sections that may rub off. When you flip the instructions over, it gives you another warning. On this one, if you move the legs high enough, the joint at the top may come apart. So if that happens, just carefully reconnect the part. Then it shows you how to attach the spider web defense. Then it continues to show you the effect sheet for the Spider-Man Sense effect part that attaches on the back side. At the end, it shows how to set up the printed effect that is on the cardboard. Here's the 360 of Spider-Man straight out of the box. For starters, I really like how they sculpted the Spider-Man figure. The details are really good. I like how they did the muscle structure, especially on the upper chest going towards the shoulders and then leading into the arms. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. And honestly, comparing it to the Spider-Man Peter Parker that showed up from the animated Spider-Verse movies, this one looks a lot bulkier versus that one. The other thing that I like is obviously he has the classic suit of the Spider-Man and the details are really good. Again, you can really see the cut sections of the figure, especially how the web is outlined throughout the red sections of the figure. That really gives it a nice in-depth look of the sculpturing. Looking at the figure as far as the cut lines, you can see that he's got several different points of articulation, which looks very similar to how they did the Wolverine one if you went and saw that video. Overall, I really like the appearance of the figure. I can't say the same for the accessories or the expressions. I would have loved for them to have included more web accessories in reference to when I did the symbiote Spider-Man. That one had an amazing array of different web accessories. It seems like S.H.Figuarts is lacking in that category. Now let's check out what articulation points are included with this figure. He's a little bit stubborn on the head rotation. You can even hear the noise of the plastics within the joint. He does have good neck movement though. This is as low as you can see and this is as high. But then you can rotate the head so you get a full nice range of motion. So that is really good, which is something that we saw on the other S.H.Figuarts Spider-Man. This is as high as the arms go. You get a nice 360 of the arm. This has an extension piece for the shoulder. This is fully out. This is fully in. So to reach the center, this is as far as you can cross the arms. This as far back as they go, which is not really good at all. You get a nice 360 out of the bicep. You get 2 different sections. You get this section first, then you get the secondary section. which then gives you the full angle movement, but because it's very thick, you're not going to notice much of it. 360 of the wrist, nice up and down, good rotation on the chest, and you also have a lower extension piece on the lower backside to give you a nice full range of motion. So this is as far down as you can bend over. Then this is in the opposite direction. You do get rotation, but that comes in from the upper abs as they meet the lower chest, not from the waist, which is where you would really expect it from. And I think that is because of the extension piece that they gave you towards the lower back. This is as high as the leg can go. This is as far back. Here's the split. He does have thigh rotation. Here's the knee, full range. Again, the knee comes in two sections. This is the first one. This is the second one. And then this is how you get to the full range. There's no extra movement on the calf. Now, this is as low as the ankles can go. This is as high up. And as you see, he's got a little third piece here between the joint. You can do a 360, but as you can see, it's starting to go around the joint. Here's the toes. You do get outboard and inboard just by the rotation that you see here. So it's kind of like he's got two little sections that help it rotate, which gives you the angular motion. Articulation wise, I didn't see anything super above beyond from a S.H.Figuarts standpoint that we get from the other figures. I do like how they did the head joint as far as the movement goes. I think this gives the Spider-Man figures better poses when you're able to do that type of motion. So articulation wise, they're good. And there you have it. Here's a close-up of the two expressions that come with the Spider-Man figure. The first one is the neutral one. Then the next one is the one where he is in full awareness, which goes with the effect part that you see below when his spider senses go off, or as they call it in Tom Holland's Spider-Man's, the Peter Tinkle. One thing is, I would have loved to have seen more expressions. This one basically just locks you down to two of them. Here's the view of Spider-Man's ultimate move, which is called the ultimate web throw. This is the one where Spider-Man throws this web to capture his opponent before he does a 360 toss and then slams them very hard into the ground. In similar execution, the printed on effect part comes on two separate cardboard pieces, just how we saw it on the GAMERVERSE Wolverine. For this scene, I gave Spider-Man the expression that shows his spider sense, and I also attached the effect part that came with the figure, or as they call it, the Peter Tinkle. For those of you that watch Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies. To attach the effect part on the backside of Spider-Man, he's got a little piece that you can pull off using the tool that was provided. I advise you, when you remove the back piece on his backside to attach this effect part, be very careful when removing it because it's a really small piece and it's very easy to get lost. Once you do that, you can take the piece that attaches to the back of them and then slide the effect part onto it. One thing to note, the section that holds the effect part, you could actually rotate it 360. So you don't necessarily need to have it in a straight angle, you could actually change it. The biggest thing that I'm seeing on this figure so far is the flaw on the execution side of how they translated the video game portrayal of the Spider-Man from the 2D into real life. And this effect part shows it. I think of other ways that they could have showed the spider senses without needing to do a 2D cutout of the effect part, because all it is a piece of plastic with some stickers on it, which when you do the 360, as you see here, it totally kills the figure, since this only works when you're looking at the figure directly from the front side, and it goes into the execution flaw of not being able to translate the 2D into the real life, which the figure does amazingly well. I think on this one, S.H.Figuarts got lazy because they could have easily have done another expression with the hip sculpture that actually incorporated the little effect parts going around the head. Or if they wanted to, they could have given you a piece that could attach directly to the head, similar to how a tiara would attach. And I think that would have been 1,000 times better than what they give us here. For this scene, I have Wolverine fighting Spider-Man, where he is doing the horizontal tornado claw and Spider-Man is on the defense. This is the other accessory that came with Spider-Man. I'm not sure why they decided to go with this one versus the other accessories that they could have done. If you remember from the video game, one of his specialties was the ability to shoot the webs from both of the wrists. I would have loved to have seen that accessory versus this one. Don't get me wrong, I do like it. Honestly speaking, I think they could have did better on the accessories. I'm still mesmerized by the accessories that came with Venomized Spider-Man. On that one, to me, Revoltech did one hell of a job. From the articulation points of that figure to all the accessories that were included, I couldn't be happier with that figure. But this one, I had really high hopes. The figure itself is really great, don't get me wrong. It's just the execution of how they did the accessories. Attaching the accessory, if you look carefully on the backside of the web, it's got a ball joint that attaches to the special piece that came in the package, where it goes into the wrist of Spider-Man. Then it's got a socket that clips to it. And because it only comes with one ball joint, which limits the figure to only holding it with one hand, but you can use the other arm to help paint the image. So it basically ends up looking like a shield. One thing that I noticed about this figure when doing this pose is the secondary piece that is between the ankle and the toe, which I know is supposed to help flow the layering that they did on the spider suit to continue with those webbing marks. What I noticed is that it does give it a limit on the joint by the ankles. So balancing the figure did become challenging just because I couldn't get those extra millimeters that would have allowed me to rotate the ankle into a better position. So because of that, it kind of limited and it gave me a certain angle, which was difficult to manage. The other thing that I noticed is when I immediately snapped the piece into the ball joint of the webbing, I heard a snapping noise, which as you see here, is actually cracked. So that is a default on the figure where they didn't really choose the right material or the right dimension of the socket to go on the ball joint. So as you see in this close-up image, I have a fracture line on both sides, almost right where the parting line is when the plastic was molded. So I wonder if this was common across all the Spider-Man figures, which leads me to believe that you will not be able to use this accessory in the long run if you're one of those that constantly poses the figures. At some point, that socket is going to fall apart and it will no longer be able to retain the spider web shield. So that is another flaw that I've seen on this figure. For this scene, it's round 2 of Wolverine fighting Spider-Man. Spider-Man did the web toss. So here you have Wolverine at the mercy of Spider-Man. I included the background for this scene just so you could see it. Honestly, what I didn't like about this one is really the execution of the accessories that came with the figure. You did get the spider web shield and it comes with this web accessory showing the long range. And honestly, this accessory is more for him to be using when he's swinging, not really for tossing. But this one, I want to get creative with it because I didn't really want to do a swinging pose, since I do that basically with every other Spider-Man, especially the ones that come from the animated Spider-Verse movies. I know in the Marvel game, he only has 2 expressions, which is the one that you see here and the one that shows his spider senses going off. So it would have been nice if they did another one, but obviously sticking to the true video game, that is what you get. It would have been nice if they would have gave us the camera accessory with the web, which is the one that he shows up at the end when he takes that photo for JJ after he wins.
One for JJ.
But again, I really like the figure for itself as far as what S.H.Figuarts did on the special Gamerverse series. Honestly, the figure looks really nice. The design cues are good, the details are fantastic, and I really like how the figure was sculpted just to show a more muscular side of Peter. And honestly, proportionally compared to its video game version, if I remember correctly, this Spider-Man looks more buff than the one that was actually featured in the video game. I think that one's a little bit more slimmer. Now going back to the ultimate web throw, this is the one where Spider-Man catches his opponent through the spider web and then he shoots a different one and then does a 360 toss where the opponent hits the floor really hard. I know in the stock photos they kind of show the 2 cardboard pieces lined up side by side and then Spider-Man is out of the frame. Well, this is kind of what the intention of that should have really been. They should have made it a lot bigger to also allow Spider-Man to be part of the cardboard background. I think this is another one where they missed. Honestly, they could have just gave another piece as part of the cutout. where you could actually stack it or do something unique with it, where again it just goes to the poor execution of the accessories that came with the figure, which it does affect the figure to a certain degree. But if you're collecting all the Spider-Man figures, I'm sure you will get the other web styles that will help you unlock this figure's potential. And then you can really appreciate this figure for what it is, because the Spider-Man figure is amazing, the details are really good, and you do get a nice set of array of hand gestures to go along with the figure. The only thing that was lacking was the different webs, but that could be easily helped if you start using the other web accessories from other figures, which maybe I'll show you in the future later on. If you like what you have seen, don't forget to leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video, and I'll see you next week with a brand new one. Thank you and bye.